Hello. Hello.
Hi, good
Hi,
morning.
dear Mayor. Good morning. How are you? Thank you for coming to
Good.
the meeting, to the community and share the update. It's so nice to meet you again.
Absolutely. And I'm so sorry about being a little late. I was actually on a White House briefing call that
Wow.
went a little bit over. I'm getting some really good information on the American Rescue Plan and how we can use those funds at the local level. So I'll be sharing some updates on that as well.
Wow, awesome. Great. Thank you so much. I think we can get started. Like maybe I'll help you to translate in Chinese. And there
Sure.
are some like topics we the community cares about, and we can based on the list and the start, and then if there's additional questions and if there's additional update you would like to add, we can add those. Thank you so much.
Perfect. Perfect. So I think one of the first things that was asked was about the All-American Asphalt issue.
Yeah.
And so I'll start with that one.
Yes.
And just yesterday, I think I posted an update on my social media. And I just want to share with you guys some of the things that have been happening. And, both the city and AQMD have completed several rounds of air monitoring on the site and near the plant over the past 6 months. And both of the results that have come back have been consistent that the air is within the health-based exposure thresholds, but they're not exceeding those thresholds. But also we heard during the public meeting that AQMD held is that, people were still not feeling comfortable with the quality of testing. So right now, AQMD, in conjunction with UCI professors, are doing more testing. And what they're doing is they're using their equipment and the UCI equipment side by side in different areas for those test results. And we're expecting those results to come out in July.
July, okay.
So once those results are out, we will learn more about what they look like. But I also wanted to share that, while all of this was happening, I actually went and took a tour of the All-American Asphalt plant to kind of learn about their processes and really visually see the equipment that they installed to help reduce some of those emissions and verify that they were there. So, we're going to be following this, and we have been following this very closely. So I'm hoping to get those test results in July, and we'll probably work with AQMD to host another public meeting.
Okay. Alrighty. Thank you. I took some notes. I'll help to briefly translate. Thank you so much.
Sure.
Yeah. 关于那个沥青厂的问题的话，就是前一段时间，现在主要的尔湾市的主要目的的话是进行相关的这个空气质量的测试。现在目前所有的这个空气质量的话都是比较一致的，然后现在的空气的话是在健康的范围的以内的。但是呢，就是说，因为在他们做公开会议的时候，有很多人对这空气还是有一些就是空气质量还是有一些担心，所以呢，他们现在还会进行进一步的测试，包括 UCI 的有一个教授，然后和 AQMD 的话，他们有单独的这样的测试方法，然后两边的机器的话都同时在测试，最后这个测试结果的话会大概在7月份的时候出来。然后呢，尔湾市长Farah 的话，他们也有去参观这个工厂，然后来去确保他们空气质量相关的这些设施的话，都已经有实际上是存在在那里的，然后有进行工作。所以呢，这个事情的话也是市长非常关心的一个事情。然后如果是测试结果出来之后，他们会进行另外一个公开的一个会议，然后给大家相关的 update. Yes, thank you.
Perfect. And also, just to add a little bit more to that, is the fact that in Orange County, we do have very bad air quality. So not just in any specific area, but when you look at air quality throughout Orange County, it's not the best. And so we are looking at ways to see how we can improve that as well.
Okay, cool. 然后其实整体的呈现的空气质量的话，其实并不是很理想的。 所以他们也在那个市长，他们也在那个整体来看，就是说有什么方法可以改进空气质量的这样子的一个办法。Yes.
All right, so the second item I see is the Veteran Cemetery update, Great Park Future Plan. And so I just want to share with you that our last council meeting, we did have a discussion on the Veteran Cemetery. We heard, you know, from all people. The meeting lasted almost till 1 a.m. Because we wanted to provide everyone an opportunity to share their comments, whether they were calling them in or they're in person. So as it stands right now, the city did not move forward on a veteran cemetery for CalVet to consider. And what we're hearing from a lot of the veteran groups and a lot of other elected officials throughout the county and even the state is they want to try and see if they can't build the veteran cemetery in Anaheim. I believe there's going to be a press conference on July 1st at the Anaheim site. And so we are going to be learning more about that. But as it stands right now, the city did not propose any site in Irvine.
Okay, nice. 关于那个就是大公园的这个老兵墓地的话，大家也知道，就是上礼拜的话，有一个尔湾的那个市议会，他们的开会的时候，其实有决定，当时市议会的话就决定在尔湾的话不选任何的地点。那现在的话，在7月1号的话，会在 Anaheim 的那个选新的一个选址，那个他们会召开一个就是发布会。所以在那个发布会上的话，应该会有更多的情况更新。7月1号，所以大家如果是到时候可以关注一下这个相关的新闻。那那个就是在 Anaheim 的那个新的那个选址的话，然后进行一个公布的一个相关信息的这个发布会是这样子。Yes. Nice.
And then, of course, if anyone has questions later on, we can do more questions on these items. I just want to provide you guys with some updates. The third, the Great Park Future Plan, this is where it gets a little exciting because at our next Great Park Board meeting, we are going to be looking at what's coming in next. One of the things that we're working on is that we have these fourplex of hangars on the cultural terrace side, which we are having some engineers and architects review. So once those reviews come back and they let us know that these are good buildings that we can use, we are looking at, you know, having the Air Museum here in Irvine at the Great Park. We're looking at having a library, a cultural center. We're looking at having an innovation center. I'll be meeting with some tech companies this week to really talk about how do we encourage our next generation to be more involved in technology and provide them with hands-on resources. And, you know, this is where we're really going to be going back and looking at our list of items that the community has wanted in the Great Park and seeing what will fit into those spaces. So that's going to be exciting, even looking at possibly an outdoor theater in that area and a meeting and event center. So there is one hangar space, you know, I don't know off the top of my head how large it is, but it's quite big, can accommodate a lot of people. And we're looking at renovating that as an event space so that if you want to rent it for special events, for weddings, things like that, that would become available. And it would be one of the biggest ones in all of the city. So we don't have much spaces that can accommodate large populations, but this one will. So we're excited about that. We're also working with the Fire Museum to get the Fire Museum in place. And so that will be coming up. Pretend City Museum is moving to the Great Park, so they are working. Wild Rivers is going to be doing a groundbreaking, I believe, soon. So we should hear about that in a couple of weeks. So a lot of good things are starting to come together and a lot of fun areas for the families to enjoy. Again, it's going to take a little bit of time because we're still in the preliminary stages, but these are the plans that we're working on.
Wow, very exciting. Finally, we have a lot of other, you know, things like exciting and what we promised is finally going on. That's great. Awesome.
Yes.
Yeah. 关于那个大公园的那个计划的话，就是刚才市场分享了很多信息，然后就这个我觉得还挺那个开心的。 就是他提到的，就是说，在 Cultural Terrace 的话，就是那个这边的话，大公园呢有计划那个文化园区嘛，所以他们在看这个有一个那个就原来的基楼，然后他们在看，然后能不能重新利用来做这个相关的这个就是文化园区的一部分。然后还有就是这个航空的这个博物馆，然后还有图书馆，然后文化中心，然后还有他们会尔文市长的话，他会跟那个就是一些高科技公司，然后来见面，然后看一下能不能建立一个就这种创新的中心。然后在户外的话，有可能会建这个就是这个剧场。然后另外一个呢，就是他们有看有其中一个很大的一个这个原来的航机楼，有可能可以改成一个会展中心。然后另外呢，就是关于那个就是关于消防的那个博物馆，他们也会正在建立。然后那个 Pretend City 的话，他们现在也 Pretend City 就是那个小孩玩的那个就是那个一个博物馆，他们也会从原来尔湾的就是在光谱中心那个地方会搬到大公园，变得更大一些。然后还有另外一个就是水公园，然后有可能是最近的话，最近2周的话，有可能就会那个开始那个就是动工了，所以到时候大家也可以关注一下这个相关的这些新闻。Yes, nice, exciting.
Nice. And then I know there was a question about the shopping center, and I also wanted to share with everyone that not only in my private meetings with 5 Point, but also at the last Great Park board meeting when we were discussing, I think it was a Lifetime Fitness area by Irvine Boulevard, that I did request from 5 Points that they look into, having some sort of a grocery store, a pharmacy, a gas station, to accommodate the residents in that area. And so they did say that, they weren't sure whether the Lifetime Fitness gym would be coming to that area. And so those other opportunities are opportunities that they would be looking into. So I'm going to continue pushing them on that to make sure that that happens. But if there are any other ideas that you have that you would like to see, please let me know so I can advocate for them as well.
关于那个就是大公园的这个购物中心的话，然后那个就是原来的话是说在那个大公园这边的话建设一个就是健身房嘛，所以但是因为他们其实因为大家也了解疫情期间其实对健身房就是了解的那个就是影响的比较大，所以他们现在可能对健身房就是不是特别那个就是愿意建这个健身房，就是5点这个公司 Five Point。他们在讨论，就是说建立那个购物的，就是相当于是就平常的超市，然后那个加油站，然后一些餐厅啊什么之类，他们现在在讨论。所以如果大家有什么愿意那个希望在那里盖的，或者是希望在那里有的这种对大家有帮助的生活便利有帮助的这种功能的话，可以给那个尔湾市长发邮件。大家看到刚才他有发那个他的那个联系方式。email 以及他在 social media 上的联系方式，当然大家可以联系市长，然后来那个给他提出一些相关的这种大家的想法。谢谢 ，Thank you. All great.
Then we're going to move on. I think was that
all great things happening. Thank you for like.
There's a lot happening. People don't realize how much is going on in Irvine, and there's a lot that's going on.
Yeah, and so thank you for so much.
So the next question was on
pushing it forward. That's very important, and you are really pushing everything forward. That's nice. Okay, go ahead.
Yeah, it is, and that's why it's so important for me to hear from the communities directly, because then I know exactly what to push forward on. So thank you for this opportunity.
Awesome, thank you.
Next is affordable housing. So there were some questions about affordable housing, and do we have plans to build more? We do. We definitely do. One of the things that I share with folks is sometimes people think that, the city, as in the mayor and the council members, are coming up with more development. But a lot of times we have to follow state guidelines. So the state basically requires us to build a certain amount of units, certain amount of affordable, certain amount of market. And every 8 years, it's called the regional housing assessment. And so what happens there is they give us a number that they want us to build, and we as a city have to plan for that. And for the next 8 years, our units that we are assigned for Irvine are about 23,000 units. That means 23,000 housing units need to be built in the next 8 years. And that includes a lot of affordable housing, that includes medium income housing and market housing. And so we have to work with our developers and create a plan to build such a vast amount of units. But we are also working with the Irvine Community Land Trust, and myself and Council Member Anthony Kuo sit on the board of the Land Trust. And that's really focused on building affordable housing. Our next project that's coming up is called The Sage. I believe it's in Portola Springs. And this is the first time that we are actually building condominiums for sale that are at affordable rates. And so if you go to the Irvine Community Land Trust website, and I'll put it in the chat, I believe applications are right now open. So if you would like to apply for an affordable housing that's for sale, that project is open. And then we have a couple other opportunities for more housing that's going to be affordable coming up soon. Not only that, but we also have an ordinance in our city that any new development that happens, there, I believe it's 15% of it is required to be affordable. So whether it's apartments or homes, anytime there's new development, 15% of it has to be affordable, and that's a city requirement that we have in place.
所以刚才那个就是市长提到的，就是关于那个 affordable housing 的话，就是这种可负担的这种住房，因为大家也都知道，在加州的话，住房是一个短缺的，一个是短缺，另外一个就是那个支付能力的话，这个要求，其实州政府的话对那个每一个城市的话都有相关的规定，像那个法律上的话，其实州政府对那个尔湾市的话是要求在8年之内要盖23000个这种单位的房子，所以呢，他们现在在那个叫 Land Trust 这样的一个机构的话，主要是安东尼郭那个我们的另外一个华裔的这个市议员，他在那个这个董事会上面，他们现在在确定这个让那个尔湾能够盖更多的这种可以负担的这种房子。这种房子的话，现在目前的话，他们有一个这个相关的，在 Portola Springs 的话，有一个叫 Sage 的那个，就是这种可以购买的，然后就是低于市场价很多的这样的一个房子，他们现在在那个已经在计划中，应该是很快就开盘了，所以大家可以到那个市长他会把这个相关的网站发过来。叫 Irvine Community Land Trust 这个网站上面有相关的这个信息，然后在上面可以进行相关的申请，是这样子。然后另外呢，就是尔湾的话，在新开发的楼盘，实际上它是有规定的，15%的话必须是可以，就是有这个相关的这种可负担的这种房源的建设。Yes, thank you.
Great. After that, there was questions about small business assistance and minority women business support. So, you know, we are getting some funding not only from the state, but also from the federal government. In our city, I think we're getting about $53 million, and the county is getting $600 million. So every time that we have been offered business grants, it's come from the county funds. So actually, just this past week, I sent a letter to our county supervisor, Don Wagner, asking him for more funding to help support our small businesses. And so I think it'll be very important for us to, in this round, to maybe target towards not only small business, but also women-owned businesses to make sure that they're getting the support that they need. And so I will keep that in mind. But again, that's one of those items that I'm pushing for the county to help us with that funding so then we can support all our small businesses.
Awesome. So the amount is 53 million, right? Irvine got
53 million is for Irvine, and that includes, you know, the funds that not only for small business, but it's for infrastructure, for, you know, transportation, for so many other things that we can use it for.
Okay. So
but when it comes to small business, we rely on the county.
Oh, okay. I see. Okay. 所以呢，就是关于那个有一个问题是关于对那个中小企业的一些扶持计划，尤其是在疫情期间的话，其实很多中小企业都受到影响了嘛。目前的话，就是从那个州政府其实收到了600个million的这样的一个600个百万，应该是6亿的这样的资金，然后那个分配到尔湾的话，大概是5300万美金的这样的一个资金。所以这个资金的话是用来支持，包括其实结构的，就是整个的这个基础建设的这些方面的这些建设，然后包括对那个小的生意的这些中小企业的这样扶持。然后所以呢，在未来的话，就是我们的资金下来的时候的话，因为这个钱的话需要那个去跟那个 county 去申请，这个钱下来之后的话，就会对那个我们的小的这些生意的话，可能会做成相关的这个一些扶持计划，尤其是对于那个女性拥有的这些少数民族的这些生意的话，有可能会进行更多的这个照顾，是这样子。大家有什么建议的话，也可以到时候给市长提出，因为这个我估计他们在计划的时候的话都会考虑的。Thank you.
Thank you. And then rental assistance. So there's questions about how rental assistance is going and is there more support coming from the state? And the answer is yes. So we were very lucky early on to get the money from the state and even some money from the federal government. And our first round basically covered everyone that applied for rental assistance. Received the rental assistance. And what it was the program was that your landlord had to accept 80% of whatever was not paid and forgive 20% of it. So if they did that, then the rental assistance went through and we covered all applicants. Now what's coming from California is that they're saying that they're going to cover any of the remaining portions. So that means if your landlord did not want to do the program because they didn't want to forgive the 20%, the state will now provide funding so that all rent is paid off. That way, we want our community members to not be in debt as we start to reopen and go back to business. We want to make sure that everyone is at the same level field, starting new, able to pay their rent and not worry about what they couldn't pay during the pandemic. So that's coming forward. We'll have more information soon. As soon as it comes into our hands, we'll start announcing it not only at our council meetings, but on our website and of course my social media, letting people know that those funds and applications are now available.
Awesome. 那个关于那个就是这个租客的这个租金的补助的问题的话，大家也了解到前一段时间的话，那个就是尔湾市有这个相关的租金补助，这个是从州政府和联邦政府下来的，然后他们基本上所有申请的人都已经得到了相关的这样的这个租金补助，所以非常棒。因为当时的话是说抽签的嘛，所以其实所有的人都得到了。这个的话主要是针对于那个就是20%那个由政府来付这个租金，就是租客的这个租金。然后呢，20%的话是房东要把它那个就是要免掉的，然后是80%是由政府来付的。那现在的话，州政府的话计划那个就是来付所有的租金的这个补助，所以呢，就是这个相关的这个政策的话会马上下来，然后那个在市议会，然后以及那个尔湾的那个市长他的自己的社交媒体的以及尔湾市的这个网站上都会公布出来。所以但是大家可以关注一下，这个就是付全部租金的，然后所以大家也可以到时候那个如果有相关的这个类似的这种情况，也可以进行相关的申请。Very nice. Thank you.
Sure. And the next topic was after reopening, which city activities are coming back? And really, we're planning on opening everything up and providing access, whether it's our community centers, whether it's our special events. This last weekend, I was at the Great Park for our movie night. And so we are going to be continuing our movie nights on the lawn at the Great Park. This summer, we're looking at concerts in the Great Park and other areas. The Barclay Theater is opening back up for programming. And, at the amphitheater, I believe on July 4th, the Pacific Symphony is doing their performance for 4th of July. And so our goal is to really take those careful steps, but start focusing on reopening and providing access. I know a lot of our childcare and group activity programs are online now. So if you go to yourirvine.org, you should be able to see all the listing of programs that are now available. I encourage everyone to take advantage of all the programs we have in the city, because we do an amazing job. Our staff does an amazing job with these programs. So please do take advantage of them.
Mm-hmm. Thank you. Nice to see that all the activities is, coming back after the whole 1.5 year.
It's nice to see the community. And I don't know if you guys were able to come out to the Great Park on Sunday, but the Irvine Police and Fire Authority held an open house at the Great Park, and we saw many community members. So it was a great event.
Yes, awesome. Okay, open house. 大家好，那个下一个的话，主要是关于那个最近的活动的一些更新。就是在那个整个那个开放了之后的话，加州重新开放之后的很多的社区活动中心现在都在开放。然后最近的话，大公园有相关的这种就是夏季的这个晚上的露天电影的活动的话，大家也可以关注一下。这个活动的话是在那个Irvine.org 上面可以进行注册。然后另外呢，就是在那个有很多的户外的这种夏季的音乐会都已经在开始，也是在那个同样的这个网站上注册。另外那个 UCI 的这个Berkeley 的这个剧院的话，他们现在也开放了，现在有很多相关的活动，演出也都在进行中。那个刚才市长把他的那个就是发出来，就是在哪里可以看到城市的活动的话，大家也可以去看一下。然后另外那个在7月4号的话，大公园的这个就是我们这边的露天剧场的话，有相关的这个太平洋的交响乐团他们会进行的这个国庆的庆祝活动。然后这个周末的话，有那个警局的和那个消防局的这个他们的这个开放日，然后也是就是有很多社区的人都去参加了，还蛮好的。I have a question. This is the 50th year of the celebration of Irvine, right? Related event, do we have any like specific event to target that too?
We're working on them right now. I think what's happening right now is we have our photo contest, the 50th anniversary photo contest going on right now. Okay. But in-person events, because we didn't know in the beginning of the year where we were going to be, but now staff is working hard to make sure we have some great events lined up and ready to go. Okay. December is when we will have most of the celebrations.
Okay, perfect. Thank you. 大家也可能知道，现在今年的话，其实是尔湾的成立的一个50周年，其实是一个很大的节日，一个很大的庆祝。因为之前的话，并不知道那个今年是可以重新开放的嘛，所以现在的话，基本上是现在这些他们的工作人员的话，正在计划那个在12月的话，可能会有一个比较大的一个活动。现在在庆祝的这个50周年的话，有一个叫照片的相关的一个比赛。所以大家可以到那个 CT 的网站上去看一下，如果想参与的话，可以参与。这也是尔湾的庆祝50周年的一个比较重要的一个活动。Thank you.
Let's see what's next. There's conversations about more robberies and gun violence, especially during the pandemic. And what can we do to keep Irvine continuously safe? And we held several town halls earlier in the year discussing this, and our police chief shared that crime has risen throughout California. Many cities are facing a rise, not only in the petty crimes, but also in the violent crimes. And so our police department is working really hard, not only within Irvine, but also in our neighboring cities, to kind of counter and find ways to stop this from happening. And a lot of it has to do with educating the community. We always say, we saw a rise in the mail theft. And so we were telling folks, you've got to empty out your mailboxes every day. Don't let your mail sit in there, because when people realize that there's a lot of mail in those boxes, they will come at night and then break into them, hoping to find something. But a lot of times they don't really get much, but it's that, you know, that opportunity that's there. So we ask people to please just empty out your mailboxes on a daily basis. Don't give them a chance to go there. Have them go somewhere else. Get them out of Irvine, because we want to make sure that our city is doing all the right things. Same thing with our cars. Make sure you don't leave anything that's visible, like, you know, even a bag of any sort. You might not have anything in there, but when someone sees a bag, they think maybe I'm going to get something. So they want to break into the car. Don't leave your garage remotes in your car if you're parking outside. Don't leave your windows down. Make sure your doors are locked. We heard so many times, you know, there are people that go around at night just opening up the car door handles to see if they're unlocked, because they know that people are a little bit careless in Irvine. They maybe don't lock their cars because they feel so safe here. So we have to do our part and make sure that we don't allow those opportunities to happen here, so that when thieves come to Irvine, they can't find an unlocked car. They cannot find anything in the mailboxes. Then they're going to go somewhere else. It's because they're finding these opportunities that they keep coming back to Irvine. So we really need to do our part and make sure that we don't even provide these type of opportunities for them. And as far as violent crime goes, you know, that's something that our chief has been working really hard on, especially with our detectives, to make sure that we're on top of. In fact, they opened up, I believe it's a reporting line. It's online on the IPD's website, where you can report things. You can report them anonymously. If you know of anything that's happening in your neighborhood, or there's something suspicious that's happening that you want the police to follow up on, please do share that, because it helps them avoid having a situation where there is a violent crime if they can capture it beforehand. So take advantage of that opportunity to share anything that you see happening in your neighborhood.
Thank you. 关于那个尔湾的安全的问题的话，大家也可以就是其实也是大家关心的一个主要的一个问题。其实那个Chief 他们在今年就是尔湾警局局长的话，在今年那个年初的一些那个就是社区的一些更新里面提到，就是说其实整个加州的这个犯罪率现在都在增加，因为可能是疫情影响的，所以呢就是他们也就是非常关注这一块儿。所以呢，就是在尔湾的话，其实警局的话，他们主要是进行一个相关的预防的这样的一个工作，也就是跟那个社区，然后进行相关的更多的教育的这样的一个教育和预防的工作。那其实市长他提到了有几个相关的问题，一个就是关于这个邮件偷窃，这个也越来越多了。其实就是说，如果是我们，比如说，因为很多这些犯罪的人的话，他们知道，就是尔湾市的人的话，其实对相关的这些，因为尔湾比较安全嘛，所以他们并不是特别的，就是注意相关的这个安全的信息，安全的这个应该怎么样能让自己更安全。比如说，包括这个邮件的偷窃，如果比如说你的邮件经常累积在那个你的邮箱里太多的话，那个犯罪的这些人的话，他会知道哦，那你这个地方可能是没有人住，所以他有可能会试图的话去那个就是就是到家里面，然后去看有什么东西没有。然后如果是比如说你的另外就是比如说像车，尔湾的话，就是大家因为觉得比较安全嘛，很多车都不上锁。那其实很多人就是这些犯罪的人，他们知道这些相关的信息，他们就会跑到尔湾来。去那个看一下这个车里面那个没有锁的车，然后里面有没有什么贵重的东西。另外呢，就是那个车库的钥匙的话，不要放在车里，因为这样的话就给那个犯罪分子那个机会，他们可以就是打开你的车玻璃，然后把那个车库的钥匙拿到。这样的话，你的家就是也是有相关的这些安全问题。所以我们不要给犯罪分子制造任何的机会。这样的话，他们知道在尔湾的话，他们没有什么机会，那他们就会到其他地方去。所以这个也是另外呢，就是说，如果大家发现任何的这个犯罪的线索呀，或犯罪的信息，都可以在尔湾市的那个举报。就是如果你发现在社区里有什么让你感觉不舒服的，或者是让你感觉到有一些潜在的犯罪的事情在发生的话，我们做好提早预防，然后在尔湾市的警局的网站上，然后他们有一个 一个报告的，它是那个匿名的报告，所以大家都可以进行相关的举报。这样的话，大家在一起可以确保我们的社区更加安全。Thank you.
Absolutely. And then the next item was, do we see less income to the city or more income to the city? If less, how do we plan to handle? So right now, I think we're doing okay. We are getting back to our normal revenue rates. But the past few years, a year and a half during the pandemic, we did see a loss of between 11 to 13 million dollars in city revenues, and that's where the 53 million that we got from the state and federal government helps us replenish those losses. So just like we're helping renters pay back their debt so that they're current, and we're helping small businesses, at the same time, these funds are being used to help the city to make sure that any losses that we incurred in the past year and a half, we're able to cover that and move forward. So I am very hopeful that now with our hotels opening up and travel being unrestricted, we've got our team sports back in action, that we're going to see a lot more of not only the hotel tax, but also the sales tax revenue come back into the city. And of course, as we develop more of those areas that are undeveloped, that housing tax will also come back to the city and get us back on our feet. So I think we'll be okay when it comes to revenues coming into the city. But it's very important that when you shop or when you go out to eat, to encourage people to do that in Irvine, so those funds come back to us.
Okay. Yeah. Shop and dine in Irvine.
Yes.
Keep the money ourselves. Yeah. So 关于那个尔湾的预算的话，那个市长也做出了一个更新，就是目前的话，其实尔湾的话，在去年1年半的话，实际上那个因为相关的这种旅游啊，然后所以其实尔湾的主要的收入的话，也从这个旅游，然后酒店，然后包括这些上面，包括那个就是大家购物这些方面的话，其实都是尔湾的这个相关的收入，以及那个部分的这个房子的这个税的话，也是到尔湾。那在去年的话，其实尔湾的话，那个城市预算的话，减少了1100万美金。那希望的话是在那个加州这个政府的话，补助的话大概是5300万这个相关的这个补助的话，除了能够帮助那个就是租客的这些补助，然后中小企业的扶持计划，有一部分钱的话也可以就是来弥补这个尔湾市的这个相关的这些财政收入的减少，然后来能够继续支持尔湾市的这个相关的这些服务。那大家如果是想帮助到那个尔湾的话，就是大家尽量的话，比如说吃饭呀，然后购物呀，都在尔湾的话，这样的话就是让那个钱回流到我们自己的城市身上，这样的话就是可以在那个，所以欢迎大家能够继续的在尔湾的餐厅那个用餐，然后在尔湾的这个购物中心，然后来购物，这样的话这个能够 support 更多的这些城市的这些服务能够继续下去。Thank you.
Thank you. And next is, how is the vaccine rate in Irvine now? What is our plan to have more people vaccinated, especially some area that are less vaccinated? And so I want to share with you guys that on a weekly basis on my social media, I actually create a map of all the zip codes in Irvine and pull data from the Orange County website for those and share with you exactly where we are. So if we look at our population less than 65, but this does not include children 12 to 15 yet. So this is 16 and between 16 and 65. If you look at our 9 zip codes in the city, the best ones right now seem to be 92618, which is almost 99% vaccinated.
Wow.
And 92620, which is 77.1% vaccinated. And so all the other zip codes are in between 66 and as low as 46%. So 92617 is about 46% vaccinated. So this week I'm also meeting with Memorial Care and other hospitals to provide neighborhood clinics. So clinics within these neighborhoods where we are not seeing that many people get vaccinated, to go into those neighborhoods and encourage people to get vaccinated. We just developed a new video from the city with not only our healthcare partners, but also our community leaders to encourage populations to get vaccinated and share with them the importance of that. And at the same time, we're going to be working with our healthcare providers in getting into neighborhoods, getting into those areas where people are not getting the vaccine to help them get to where they need to be. So a lot of work is happening right now to help make that happen.
Okay.
Because our goal, is to have 75% of our population vaccinated by July 4th. And that's just a few days away. We're almost at 70% right now, but we're really pushing to make that 75% happen.
Okay. Cool. 那个现在关于那个就是疫苗的这个注射的情况的话，在尔湾市的话，那个尔湾的那个市长他的话，在自己的社交媒体网站上有相关的一些就是关于那个邮编的这样的相关的这个这个疫苗的接种率的这样的一个更新。所以大家可以看一下，它是根据那个county 的这个数据，然后来那个更新的。那现在的话，92618的话是99%的这样的一个疫苗接种率，然后比较低的是92617，现在只有56%。那计划的话，那个尔文市长他计划在那个建立更多的这种社区的这样的疫苗接种的这个诊所。这样的话，可以在那个尤其是接种率比较低的地方的话，然后建立更多的这样的诊所，鼓励大家来接种相关的疫苗。然后另外一个，他们在做一个新的这样的一个宣传视频，然后来那个让社区的这些就是人来那个参与，然后来鼓励更多的人来接种疫苗。目前的话，尔湾市的话有一个目标，就是在7月4号的话，75%的人疫苗全部接种。那现在的话是70%。然后希望大家那个都那个就是积极的帮助鼓励朋友啊亲戚啊，然后来参与这个疫苗的接种，然后确保我们的疫情可以顺利的这样的结束这样子。Thank you. Farah, I think you are on mute.
Sorry.
It's okay.
It's do we see the overturn of the pandemic, and what would you suggest community do to help end the pandemic? I think one of the most important things is, of course, getting the vaccine. But the second most important thing is, even though we have a relaxation when it comes to wearing the mask, we do know that Delta variant is on its way here. And, it's spreading through the US and it's in California. We have not yet seen public cases here, but we do know that the healthcare providers, 6 healthcare providers in Orange County have been infected when they were fully vaccinated. So the Pfizer vaccine is stating that it is about 88% efficient for this Delta variant. So that still leaves a lot of room for vaccinated folks to get infected as well. So I encourage you that even if you're out and about in public, if you don't know about everyone else's status, whether they're vaccinated or not, continue wearing the mask. I think that's very important. Unless you know that, the people that you're with, if you're in a gathering where you know everybody and they're all vaccinated, that's fine. But when you're going to the stores or when you're going to a public area where you're in constant, communication or within close distance with others, I would say wear the mask. That's what I do, especially now knowing that this new variant is very infectious. And at the same time, Pfizer has stated that it is 88% efficient for this new variant. So that leaves a lot of room for those that are vaccinated to be infected as well. One thing that we do know is that the infection, if you do get infected while having the vaccine, you're not going to feel as bad as those that aren't vaccinated. So it'll be minor. That means you'll still have symptoms. You may not have symptoms. You may have symptoms, but we're pretty sure that it won't be to the point where you're going to be hospitalized or very sick. So that's a good thing. The bad thing is, we have people that are unvaccinated that are not following the guidelines. They're not, many places require that if you are unvaccinated that you have to wear the mask. And a lot of times they're not doing that. So we have to do our job to protect one another. And so my guidance has always been that if you're in a large crowd of people you don't know, wear the mask just to be safe. And then other than that, you're free to do as you like.
Okay, thank you. 关于那个现在是当时提问的一个主要的最后的一个问题，就是现在就关于那个疫情的话，是不是已经到了转折点，然后疫情会不会越来越好？然后作为那个居民的话，应该可以帮忙做出哪些事情？所以呢，就是关于这个现在的话，那个尔文市长提到了，其实他们意识到就是 Delta 的这个变异的话，现在正在更加有传染性嘛，然后正在加州正在传播。那如果他的建议的话，就是说在那个公共的区域，如果你不认识的人或者是不能保持相关的社交距离的时候，尽量还是戴口罩，这样的话保持相关的安全。因为那个像就是在城县的话，有6个那个医务人员，他们是全部打疫苗的人，但是还是最后得新冠了。所以那个因为辉瑞的话，它是对整个的这个 Delta 的这个变异的话，保护率是88%，所以其实还是有12%的这个人是保护不到的。所以大家也是要那个有相关的这样的这个案例出现，就是如果是打过疫苗之后，有可能还会得新冠。虽然得了新冠的话，它不一定是那个严重的，可能是很多是轻微的。但是大家如果是在那个公共区域的话，不能保持社交距离，你不知道那个很多人是你不认识的人，你不知道他们是不是打了疫苗的话，还是尽量要戴口罩。因为有很多人其实他们没有打疫苗的人，他也并没有去戴口罩，就是在这个社区这边。所以大家能够尽量做的就是能够去那个保护好自己和家人。如果在这些公共场所的话，尽量戴口罩。其他的话，就如果是那个你比较熟悉的情况的话，大家可以聚会啊，那个有一些小的event啊，都是 OK 的。Thank you so much. That's very nice.
Thank you. Thank you. And then the next topic was, are there any volunteer opportunities at the city for high school or middle school students? And yes, there are. So the city hall will be open for summer internship programs. And so what I'll do is I'll list in the chat some of the opportunities. You can have internships with my office, with other council members' office, and there are volunteer opportunities throughout the city. For different parts, whether it's a great park or working in different capacities, but we are opening those up. And I think they'll be very exciting for our students to have an opportunity to work with us and our staff. So I'll add the links to that in the chat so you guys can follow up on it.
Yeah, perfect.
And then, oh, sorry. Yes, you
okay.
Translate.
Okay.
Yeah, sure.
Okay, thank you. 那个就关于那个志愿者的这种有没有就是相关的这个志愿者的就是初中和高中生的这样的服务的机会。在尔湾市的话，他们现在目前开放，就是已经准备开始开放这些义工的机会。所以大家如果家里有小朋友想去那个 city 做义工的话，然后可以一会儿尔湾市长他会把这个相关的链接发过来，然后大家可以去注册。然后去那个争取这些机会，因为很多孩子们希望有一些更多的这个 involvement 嘛，在那个社区里，那就是尔湾市有很多这样的机会，所以大家可以让孩子们去那个看一下，然后注册一下。Thank you, very nice.
Okay, and the last topic is, if you are re-elected as mayor, what would be your focus to help Irvine be the best place to live in the U.S.?
Yeah.
I think this is something that is something that I'm working on right now and will probably continue if I'm reelected. Yeah. And that's really, one is making sure that Irvine is a very inclusive city, making sure that we are very respectful of our diverse population, and also that we provide resources for our community members. One of the things that we've been working very hard on is making sure that we have language access when it comes to information that we're providing. So we are working with our city staff to make sure that we are providing translation opportunities. And the most recent ones we've seen in IPD, where we had the hate crime reporting portal available in 7 different languages that you can do from your own home, because we understand that it's not always easy for someone to come to the police department to provide the report. So we're making it as easy as possible. We're converting a lot of things to online. We're bringing communities together, making sure neighborhoods understand that it's important for them to have neighborhood events that bring the community together, whether it's barbecues or special events for the kids, picnics, that they get out there and get to know one another. And so for me, one of the ways that we do make Irvine one of the best places is when we have an understanding of who we are, we have respect for one another, and at the same time, the city provides not only the programs, but the opportunities for everyone to succeed. And like I mentioned earlier, one of the things that I'm working hard on is making sure that we become the technology hub, the innovation hub of all of California. We have Silicon Valley in Northern California, and we have a little bit of the tech work going on in San Diego. But I want Irvine to become that hub of technology and innovation that everyone comes to. So I'm meeting with a lot of businesses, with a lot of startups, technology companies, even working with international folks. I had meetings with different international groups to see how we can build bridges across our nations and make sure that we're providing the best opportunities here in Irvine, not only for our current businesses and startups, but for our children that are interested in technology and innovation, give them that opportunity to be as creative as they want and succeed. So these are some of the things that I'd like to see happen, because for a very long time, I think the leadership in Irvine treated Irvine like a small town. And we're not a small town. We're one of the largest cities in California. And we need to make sure that we're providing not only the opportunities, but the programs, and do everything we can to make Irvine one of the best cities to live in.
Nice, thank you. 大家可能了解到，就是那个下一个问题的话，就是说，如果尔湾市长他重新被选上的话，因为大家知道他是到那个明年的12月是他的那个现任到期嘛，然后尔湾市长他现在有计划的话进行下一任的选举，所以现在的这个主要的一个有一个问题的话是关于，如果是他被重新选上的话，那他怎么样能够帮助尔湾变成那个全美国最好的一个城市？那个尔湾市长他也提到了说，目前的话，他的一个主要计划的话，就是让那个尔湾的他非常赞成尔湾的这个多元化。那这个多元化的话，就是主要是他会提供相关的这些资源，然后让那个生活在尔湾的每一个人的话，感觉他们有相关的这样资源的帮助，包括对语言上的这样的一个，因为大家知道尔湾的话，其实有多种语言的这样的一个社区，那它对语言上的就是对尔湾的很多，包括现在市政府的很多的网站呀、信息啊，他们都在进行相关的这个翻译工作。最近的那个尔湾的警局的这个关于这个种族仇恨犯罪的这个功能的话，他们有开放了7种语言，所以未来的话，尔湾是会对那个多语言的话，他们会提供相关的更多的这样的支持，然后他们会就是根据来。有各种各样的这个项目的话，能够帮助到这个社区的每一个族裔的人，然后都能够就是充分的获得自己的资源，这是他的一个主要目标。然后另外呢，就是他希望那个尔湾因为尔湾已经不是一个很小的城市了，然后它是一个比较大的城市，他希望那个尔湾的话变成一个新的这样的一个科技中心，因为大家也知道北加的话有硅谷，然后在那个圣地亚哥的话有相关的这样的一个就是科技的这种环境。那在尔湾的话，他希望能够让这里成为一个新的这样的一个科技的一个中心。他现在在很多跟创业公司啊相关的这些科技公司，他们都在讨论怎么样那个让尔湾变成一个科技的一个新的一个中心，然后这样的话可以能够吸引到更多的这样的资源，然后以及给孩子们提供更多的这样的一个机会，让孩子们能够有那个机会的话，可以早期的这样参与进来。Very nice, thank you. We hope you are elected as our mayor in the future and continuously.
Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you. And thank you for everything.
I think that was all the.
Yeah, it's okay. Go ahead.
Oh, I was saying, those were the topics that were provided, but I'm open to any other questions that you might have or the community has.
Yeah, I think there is a couple of questions in the online. I see you already answered some of them. One is in Chinese, so I help to translate. They asked about the golf course in Great Park. Are they planning to build the golf course soon too?
No, several years ago, and this is before I came on the council, the decision was made by the council at the time that the golf course was not feasible at the Great Park, because we were seeing throughout the city, we have golf courses that are struggling actually to do good business. And so adding another golf course at the Great Park was not a sound decision for the city. We didn't think that it would generate as much revenue because we already saw other golf courses throughout the city not doing so well. So I don't think that that's on the table right now, but I think we will be looking into what else may be available.
OK，关于大公园的高尔夫球场的话，大家他提到就是说，在他没有在当选就是市议员和市长的时候呢，当时的市议会有决定说。高尔夫球场在大公园不需要建，因为他们在就是尔湾其实有很多高尔夫球场，他们其实生意的话都不是很好。然后他们在所以他们当时的市议会的话，觉得就是这个高尔夫球场的话不会给城市带来更多的收入，所以他们现在没有这个计划。然后如果是大家有什么意见和需求的话，也可以提出来，就是有没有什么其他的可以更适合的这样子的运动的场所，然后可以向就是市长和市议会提出来这样子。Okay, the next one, let me see. And there's a website for small and women minority support. Right now we don't have the website yet, right? We're going to announce.
No, not yet.
Okay. 对于中小企业和就是这些支持的话，现在还没有，因为他们现在钱还没有到位。如果钱到位了之后的话，就会进行下一步的宣布。然后市长他把相关的一些耳湾的活动的话都列出网站列出来了。然后OK。Okay, yeah, I think that's a question. 大家还有什么其他的问题吗？如果是没有其他的问题的话，然后我们可以，如果大家也有尔湾市长的邮件，其实他对回复邮件也非常快，然后所以大家如果有什么相关的问题的话，也可以给他发 email， 然后提出未来的一些建议和就是意见这样子。Nice. I think that's the questions we have now. Oh, actually, I have a question about the in the in the Irvine and Lake Forest there is a jail, right? County jail. Is that I think they have an expansion plan, right? Are they going to do it?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes. So this is the music jail is on the borderline of Irvine and Lake Forest. And we as a city have tried to fight the expansion. Several years ago, we actually sued the county, but we lost that case. And again, we heard from a lot of our residents that do not want the expansion to happen because what we are learning is, already the Orange County jails are not at capacity. And so when they're not at capacity, why are we increasing a jail in Irvine? And what will probably happen is that, there might be opportunities for us renting out space to out-of-county facilities and bringing in folks into Irvine, which I feel, it's not going to be productive and it's not going to help us keep our city safe. And so I have been opposed to the expansion. I have, sent a letter to the County Board of Supervisors and the Orange County Sheriff opposing the expansion. At this time, they do not plan on stopping. They are continuing. the expansion, but they're in the very early stages. So if people are interested, I recommend that they write letters to the Orange County Board of Supervisors, letting them know that they don't want this expansion to continue. Okay. I do believe that we still have an opportunity to stop it, but it has to come from pressure from the community.
Okay. 关于那个下一个问题是，就是我刚才提到的，就是说关于那个大家也知道，在尔湾和森林湖边界的话有一个监狱嘛，这个监狱的话之前是轻犯罪的监狱，那个现在 county 的计划是把这个监狱扩大，然后增加那个好像是2000多个床位吧，还是多少个？大家具体可以再查一下。然后那个就说这样的话，那个其实尔湾市长的话是对这个是反对的，因为他觉得呢。因为 county 的话，其实现在有很多监狱的话都没有那个，都没有那个，就是他们还没有就是全部满。那为什么要建这个？因为他们有可能会想把这个就部分的监狱的这些位置呢，然后就是租给其他的这个监狱，有可能会带进来其他的这种就其他地方的这种犯罪的人，然后住在这边。所以呢，他认为的话，就是尔湾市长认为这样的话，对尔湾的安全实际上是没有什么好处的。会影响到尔湾的安全，所以他是反对的。那就是尔湾的话是曾经那个尝试去告那个康体，然后反对建这个就是监狱。但是呢，这个提案的话被那个就是这个 lawsuit 应该说这个控告，然后被驳回了。所以呢，现在就是大家能够做的话，就是因为这个必须要从那个社区的力量，然后来进行相关的反对。大家可以给那个 county 的这个就是县里的这些 supervisor， 然后给他们发邮件，然后来反对。现在尔文市长他觉得应该还是有机会的话，能够把这个监狱的扩建的这个事情的话给停止了。所以但是这个必须努力的话，必须要来自社区，然后来进行相关的这样的反对，然后才更有力量。Thank you.
Yeah, I see in the chat that someone asked for the White House update. And so this morning I was actually on a briefing call with many of the women mayors across the US. We have a network that we get together and you know, talk about issues in our cities and get updates and briefings. So today was our White House briefing, and a lot of it had to do with what's coming out with the American Rescue Plan. There is the American Jobs Plan and the American Families Plan, really looking at details of what these plans mean for us here at the local level. And so I have a lot of notes, and I'll try to get through a few of these things for you guys. Yeah. One is, you know, infrastructure, building on infrastructure, looking at clean water, clean transportation, clean power and energy, and of course, broadband, which is so important. And we learned during the pandemic, you know, that our internet stability was not there. You know, I had Cox, and I know that when I was getting on meetings, I was either getting kicked out or unstable connections. It was just really difficult for a lot of families. So we are looking at broadband in our city, and we are getting some federal and state funding to help us make sure that we have a good quality internet throughout the city for everyone. And also the importance of care. We talked a lot about women and families, making sure that there is infrastructure for care, because a lot of times the responsibility of taking care of not only our children, but also our elderly parents and family members falls a lot on families, individual families. So are there going to be care opportunities to help families, provide them with incentives, provide them with some sort of stimulus that will help them to continue taking care of their children and their elderly parents, because that, again, we see a growing need there. And we also don't want to have people choose between choosing a career and a job and caring for their family. There needs to be a good balance, because a lot of times people will leave their jobs to take care of family members, and then their income gets reduced, and that's instability as well. So there will be more programs coming forward to make sure that we are helping families balance work and family care. You know, we talked a little bit about universal preschool and making sure that we are providing free preschool for families, and also high quality childcare. And that comes with making sure that the childcare providers are being provided a good quality income so that they can then provide that type of quality care. And so all of this comes hand in hand. So one of the plans is focused directly on the childcare system, making sure that when we have childcare providers, that they are going to be paid at a level that they feel that this is a career, so they can really give back to the community and provide the quality of childcare that is needed. And we also talked about the child income tax credit. A lot of families don't know that this income tax credit is available. So I'll be sharing more. I'll be posting these details on my social media once I go through my notes. But there is a website you can go to and apply for the child tax credit if you haven't done so already. And we also talked about a comprehensive paid family leave program that includes family leave not only for maternity, but it also includes for illness, for death, for deployment, for domestic violence, up to 12 weeks of paid leave. And one of the plan's components is making sure that there are going to be cost benefits for the public and private sectors to be able to allow this type of planned leave. So again, making sure that there's a plan for businesses so that they can then provide the 12 weeks paid leave so that families can take advantage of it. Other than that, we talked a lot about job expansion. We talked about community colleges and also student loan debt forgiveness. This is something that a lot of mayors are pushing for to see how we can do that. We are going to be seeing an increase in Pell Grants for college students. These are free grants that are going to increase in their amounts so that students that are in college don't incur so much debt. So in the future, the plan is to provide that money upfront so that there isn't a need for so much of the student loans that will hurt the next generation in the long run. And then, of course, the ask from the White House was that us as mayors, we really understand these programs and inform our communities of what's available. And that's exactly what I plan on doing.
Awesome. That's a lot of things happening. Wow. I cannot believe how you are doing your job, so nicely as the part-time work. My God. 所以刚才那个就是关于那个大家提到的，刚才那个市长提到，他今天早晨的话有那个跟那个就是全国的这种女性的市长的话，他们有一个网络。那这个网络他们今天主要的话是做了一个白宫的这样的一个更新。所以他们提到了很多相关的话题，然后我会给大家大概是7、8个话题，所以就是他们主要的 focus 是关于那个就是关于美国的这个现在目前的话有那个比如说这些补助就是拜登的他相关的这些补助，包括那个工作呀家庭呀这些发展的这些计划。第一个的话是对于那个整个基础建设的话，他们讨论了就是关于那个水的那个就是质量，然后包括那个新能源，然后对这种比较轻污染的这些那个就是少污染的这些能源的这些讨论。尤其是关于那个就是宽带网络的这样的一个更新。大家也知道，其实宽带网络在疫情期间的话特别重要。那所以他们未来的话会在市长他的一个计划就是确保那个市长的就是那个计划是确保那个尔湾的这个宽带网络是有最好的，让大家能够有这个最好的宽带网络，然后在尔湾。然后另外一个就是关于那个就是女性和家庭的这些他们的这个包括对老人的这些方面的这个就是关照。所以他们会给那个提供相关的这些福利的话，来鼓励家庭，然后他们能够更有效的去照顾老人以及那个就是孩子。然后另外的话，他们讨论的就是这个叫 Universal Preschool， 就相当于是对于那个对于幼儿教育。幼儿教育的话，其实主要是对只学前的这些幼儿，能够就是给那个他们的这个幼儿的这个 教育中心给他们提供相关的有质量的这样的收入，这样的话他们可以提供更有品质的这个服务，能够确保那个幼儿的这个教育的话品质然后提高是这样子。然后另外的话，他们大家不知道有没有知道这个现在有这个幼儿的这个收入的补助，然后那个尔湾市长他会在他的社交媒体的网站以及那个提供相关的这个申请的链接。然后另外的话就是在那个下一个的话主要是对于那个就是如果是之前的话是对于怀孕的话，他们有相关的这种就是这个补助嘛。就是你可以不工作，然后有获得那个补助，然后现在他们会扩大到，比如说有家人去世啊，然后有那个生病啊，然后有相关的这个就是家庭暴力啊所引起的这些相关的问题，然后可能有最多到12个礼拜的这样的一个补助，那他们就是会提供相关的资源，使这些补助能够确保那个能够实现。然后下一个就是关于社区大学，以及那个对于学生的这个贷款，因为学生贷款的话，其实是现在的主要的下一代的一个主要的压力，然后他们会提供相关的这些奖学金，然后能够避免就是学生有产生这些贷款的，所以这些都是那个下一步，像美国他们要求就是每个市长他们去了解到的这些信息，然后能够看那个通过这些计划的话，如何帮助到社区的人，然后来能够那个有更多的这样的相关的改变和服务，这样子。Nice. Thank you. It's really a lot of information.
Yeah, there's a lot going on, and it's important to get this information out to the public.
Yeah, perfect. Nice. I think right, talking about the broadband. Okay. Any other questions? 大家也知道，你看尔文市长的话，其实他们其实是一个兼职的工作，但是其实在他们的这个工作里，他们其实真的是做了很多相关的这个能够确保尔湾有最好的服务，然后做出了很多的努力。I think we need to thank you for your service. This is amazing, how you do for the community and for the entire city of Irvine. We are so lucky to have you here.
Thank you so much. And again, anytime you guys have questions, please reach out. And if you want me to